Today we're supposed to be learning about poetry terminology. Poetry terminology. Terminology means words. Well, easily said it's words, but to understand what poetries are, we have to know some of the words that they use in the world of poetry. Okay. Usually when we say terminology, they are words used in specific fields. Okay, so 전문 용어. Alright, and because the book that we're reading, Out of the Dust, is a form of a poetry, we're going to learn about some of the words to be able to understand other types of poetry as well. Okay, so we're gonna go on. First of all, what is poetry? Alright, so in poetry, the sound and meaning of words, sound and meaning of words are combined to express feelings, thoughts, and ideas. So when we say sound, it's how, like when we read, it makes a certain sound. Okay, it's like a rhythm, right? And the meaning is what is actually said. So it's talking about the text. Okay. The second point, the poet is a person, okay, who writes poetry. Okay, poet. The poet chooses words carefully, all right, because they have to think about the sound, right, as well as the meaning. Now, third, poetry is usually written in lines. So we're going to take a look at some of the examples here. Poetry elements. Writers use many elements to create their poems. These elements include rhythm, right, and the sound, imagery, and something called form. And we're going to take a look at details of each. All right, so first of all, rhythm. Rhythm is the flow of the beat in a poem. So it's kind of like music. That's why we have musical notes here, right? The flow is like up and down, right? And up and down. Next, gives poetry a musical feel. It can be fast or it could be slow depending on the mood. So you may think that if it's fast, right, the mood can be very lively and energetic. Okay, when it's slow, it could be some kind of a gloomy feeling, right? Or there's something very suspicious about something. Next, you can measure rhythm in meter by counting the beats in each line. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So we're going to take a look at the next two slides for examples. So this is the first example, The Pickety Fence by David McCord. I'm going to read this out loud. The pickety fence, the pickety fence. Give it a lick, it's the pickety fence. Give it a lick, it's a clickety fence. Give it a lick, it's a lickety fence. Give it a lick, give it a lick, give it a lick. With a rickety stick, pickety, 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 pick. Okay, so if you've heard what I just read, the rhythm is fast, right? The pickety fence, the pickety fence. And you could say that it was fast to match the speed of the stick striking the fence. So this stick here is striking the fence. Right? When you hold this stick and then you hit this fence, right, from maybe right to left, it's gonna make a sound like for every tap that you make. And that's what the sound here, the rhythm is showing, trying to show. Not just with words, right, but also with the rhythm. Next example is called Where Are You Now? And it's written by Mary Britton Miller. When the night begins to fall and the sky begins to glow, you look up and see the tall city of light begin to grow. In rows and little golden squares, the lights come out, first here, then there. Behind the window panes as though a million billion bees had built their golden hives and honeycombs above you in the air. Now if you look at this poem, the rhythm is slow, Why? It's probably because it's trying to match the night gently falling and the lights slowly coming on, which means right now the time is being changed from maybe the evening, late afternoon to nighttime, like in the image here. And you know, when darkness falls, people start turning on the lights like this, right? So in order to make this into an image, right, using rhythm, the writer has written a poem that looks like this. Next, we're going to go to the element of sound. Writers love to use interesting sounds in their poems. After all, poems are meant to be heard. Okay? These sound devices include rhyme. Maybe you've heard of rhyme. Repetition, so you repeat, like bang, bang, bang. Alliteration, in Korean it's called 두운두운법. It's also bang, bang, bang with the same B's. And onomatopoeia, maybe Kate and Stephanie, if you remember from our past theme book classes, we've learned what this is. It's like pop and sizzle. All right. Let's go to each of these sound elements. Rhyme. Rhymes are words that end with the same sound, like this. Hat, cat, and bat. They rhyme. Rhyming sounds don't have to be spelled the same way. Like cloud and aloud, O-U-D and O-W-E-D, right? They are differently spelled, but they sound the same. Rhyme is the most common sound device in poetry. Okay. Rhyming patterns. Poets can choose from a variety of different rhyming patterns. So it could be like A-A-B-B. So A-A rhyme, B-B rhyme. The lines. AA, at the end of each line the words rhyme, and at the end of each line of B, right, they rhyme. Or it could be AB, AB. So this and this, they rhyme, B and B rhyme. Or it could be like this. The first and the last line, the words here, they rhyme, and right in the middle, the second and the third, right, they rhyme. Now, the last example is where we have the C. Okay, so there's only, let's see, one of A and C. They're different, but B and B, second and fourth line, are the same. So if you look at the first pattern, AA and BB, right? First line, second line, third and fourth. So this is A, B, B, which means at the end of A, right, falls, and the second A, balls. They rhyme. Right? Snow makes whiteness where it falls. The bushes look like popcorn balls. Falls, balls. Rhyme. And then for the B lines, right? And places where I always play look like somewhere else today. So play and today, they rhyme. This is AABB pattern. The next one, ABAB rhyming pattern, looks like this. So word in red, they rhyme together, and the word in blue, they rhyme. I love noodles, give me oodles. Make a mound up to the sun. Noodles are my favorite foodles. I eat noodles by the ton. Okay, next, ABBA rhyming pattern. Let me fetch sticks. Let me fetch stones. Throw me your bones, so they rhyme. Teach me your tricks. Here, the first A and the fourth A, they rhyme. Next, ABCB rhyming pattern. The alligator chased his tail, which hit him in the snout. He nibbled, gobbled, swallowed it, so this is C, and turned right inside out. So you could see here, the words in blue, snout and inside out, they rhyme together. Alright. Next element is repetition. Repetition occurs when poets repeat words, phrases, or lines in a poem. So this is a keyword, repeat. Like this, you say the same thing again and again. Creates a pattern, increases rhythm, strengthens feelings, ideas, and mood. Alright, so let's take a look at the example here. It's called The Sun. Someone tossed a pancake, a buttery, buttery pancake. Someone tossed a pancake and flipped it up so high that now I see the pancake, the buttery, buttery pancake. Now I see that pancake stuck against the sky. Interesting. So here, the word pancake is repeated, all right, 6 times. If you look at carefully here, high and sky, what do? They rhyme. Okay, next element, alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of the first consonant sound. Okay, so repetition, 반복 of 첫 자음 소리. Okay, in words like this. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So here we have repetition of the first consonant, 첫 자음, which is P. They are repeated like this. Or look at this example. The snake slithered silently along the sunny sidewalk. So we all have the S sound repeating. Look at the example here. This tooth. I jiggled it, jaggled it, jerked it. So you can see that J is repeated. I pushed and poked it. Oh, pushed and pulled, sorry. So P is repeated. But as soon as I stopped and left it alone, this tooth came out on its very own. Alright? Now let's go to the next element, onomatopoeia. Words that represent the actual sound of something are words of onomatopoeia, like dogs bark, cats purr, thunder booms, rain drips, and the clock ticks. Okay? And appeals to the sense of sound. Look at the example here. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Frozen snow and brittle ice make a winter sound that's nice. We have a rhyme here too. Underneath my stamping feet and the cars along the street. Oh, another rhyme here. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Why do you think they use the word scrunch here? What does the word scrunch mean? Right? It's like 뽀드득, 뽀드득. Right? Do you know why they're using this word, 뽀드득? Because if you look at the image, that's a hint. These two people are walking on snow, right? So it's the sound that they make as they walk. What about crunch? I think you know crunch because there are certain snacks with this name. It's also like 으드득 or 뽀드득 as well. Alright. Alright. Next element, imagery. Now, imagery is the use of words to create pictures or images in your mind. Okay? Appeals to the 5 senses, the smell, the sight, hearing, taste, and touch. Alright? Details about smell, sounds, colors, and taste create strong images. To create vivid images, vivid is something that's easy to see. Okay? In Korean, it's like 생생한 or 선명한. Alright? Writers use figures of speech, 비유적 표현. Alright? Figures of speech are tools that writers use to create images or paint pictures in your mind. So it's like you're drawing, okay, drawing a picture with words. Alright? Similes, metaphors, and personification are 3 figures of speech that create imagery, and we have already learned what these 2 are, similes and metaphors. Okay, we're going to review them. So simile is 직유. A simile compares 2 things using words like or as. Do you remember this? Like or as, what do they mean? 뭐뭐처럼, 뭐뭐와 같은, right? Comparing one thing to another creates vivid image, like this. The runner streaked like a cheetah. So the runner is not really a cheetah, right? It's like a cheetah, 뭐뭐처럼, alright? Another example, an emerald is as green as grass. So this is green. Like what? Like grass. A ruby red as blood. Okay, so they use this word here. Remember, we have to use words like and as. A sapphire shines as blue as heaven. So here we have 2 similes. Sapphire, blue, heaven. A flint lies in the mud. Okay, and what's the meaning of flint? Flint. It's like it's a type of a rock. 회색 돌. Okay, 부싯돌, 부싯돌. A diamond is a brilliant stone to catch the world's desire. An opal holds a fiery spark, but a flint holds fire. Now next, we're gonna go to metaphor. Now this is a little bit different. Metaphor compares two things without words like this, okay? Gives the qualities of one thing to something that is quite different. The winter wind is a wolf, but is the wind really a wolf? No. But they don't use the word or words like and as, okay? They just use this verb to be. Example, the night is a big black cat. The moon is our topaz eye. So this is night. Night. And the eye is the moon. The stars are the mice she hunts at night in the field of a sultry sky. Okay. The last one, personification. In Korean, this is called 의인화. So look at this. The moon is not a person, but we made it look like a person. Personification gives human traits, human characteristics, and feelings to things. Okay, but these things are not human. They're animals or they're objects. So the moon is not a person. It's not a human, right? But we're saying the moon smiled down at me. 달이 나를 보고 웃었다. Strange, right? The moon is not a person. Example, Mr. Sun. Mr. is a word when we use this when we call men, right? Wakes up at dawn, puts his golden slippers on, climbs the summer sky at noon, trading places with the moon. Okay, so here it's personifying the sun as a mister. Okay. Now, this is probably going to be the last part that we're going to be going over. We have to know of words, the words lines and stanzas. I'm sure you know what lines mean, right? Most poems are written in lines like this. One line, right? 2 lines in total. 3 lines. Now, a group of lines in a poem is called a stanza. So, if line means hang, right? When we say stanza, I think you can find a synonym of stanza because you've already learned how to write essays, right? Stanza is like a paragraph. So in a paragraph, we have, in an essay, we have paragraphs. In poems, we have stanzas. Okay, so this group, or without the title, this group is a stanza. This group is also another stanza. So for this poem called March, how many stanzas are there? There are 2 stanzas. Okay. So next class we're going to go over impacts of the Great Depression. Okay, it's known as 대공황. Okay, we need to know this to understand the book that we're reading. All right, so I hope you fill out the poetry review sheet that I will give you, okay, on Kakao Talk, and I'll see you next class, hopefully. Bye.